this is absolutely massive, dude. This is straight juice right here. I don't see anybody else giving out information like this. And then like this is
telling you all this. Marcus Infinger, the SVP of Ripple X, just yesterday put this out on his LinkedIn profile. And
the points I'm more interested are probably in one side, DeFi itself. I think XRP ledger, XRP token itself has been quite isolated. If you
but yeah, as people roll in, we've got a really good presentation for you guys today, really discussing and diving deep into the realm of DeFi developments and how everything that myself and Mr. Aqua have been attempting to portray to you guys about the future of this digital asset ecosystem and how DeFi is only going to continue to scale and grow and develop further, and how you should not sleep on your own ability to learn how to get your digital assets working for you is aging extremely well. Ever since myself and Mr. Aqua started the Wealth 28 Club DeFi University, we've only seen continuous developments on the XRPL, particularly in today's focus, and on Link and on HBAR and on Stellar, and now even on the XDC ecosystem DeFi developments. A lot of these ecosystems are heavily fixated on real world asset tokenization and DeFi. And I firmly believe, based off of my research, it's because they know that that is one niche that is going to bring traditional financial players and traditional finance into this digital ecosystem. So I'm going to continue to do my part to show you guys that that is the case, and that is exactly what's happening behind the scenes. So make sure that you stick around for the entirety of this video. We have some really good juicy info. I'm going to play some video clips, read through some fundamentals that have recently come out. All of this information is within the last, I'd say, week, give or take. And has gone relatively unnoticed. I don't really see any other mainstream influencers or researchers talking about this the way that myself and Mr. Aqua do, really trying to get you guys to wake up and see that our assets, these digital assets that we hold, should not be sold for fiat, a decaying, dying system where our money has been depreciating over the course of our lifetime for, in replacement to what's happening now, this digital transformation where we can take these assets that we're buying for pennies on the dollar, and no matter what it is, their price, whether it's XRP or it's XLM, whether it's worth 50 cents now or $50 in the future, we're going to be able to take that asset, that digital asset, and leverage it to earn yield, provide liquidity, lend, borrow, do all these amazing things in this new digital reality that we're headed into. And so many people are sleeping on just learning about this space, not even deploying into this space, because that's a whole nother approach, a mature approach that you have to take and have the guts for. But just taking the initiative and joining a community like the one that we built here in the CYPRX community with the Wealth 28 Club and just learning about this, it's so surprising to not see more people take the initiative, especially after what I'm going to share with you guys today and what we've shared with you guys in previous videos. So thank you all for tuning in as you guys roll in. I just wanted to get a perspective real fast, open commentary on your perspective, Mr. Aqua, on 2025. I know that you saw, just like I myself saw this year, a lot of people were projecting the bull market cycle, especially in altcoins, to scale this year. However, that obviously, of course, was not the case. We did see, I'd call it a bull market cycle in Bitcoin, because we saw new all-time highs this year in Bitcoin. But what do you think next year holds for altcoins and assets that are heavily focused on, or blockchains that are heavily focused on building out DeFi ecosystems this year?
I feel like DeFi is inevitable, though. Like DeFi, whether it's in 2025, 2026, DeFi is here to stay. DeFi is here to stay. DeFi is going to continue to grow. When it's going to happen exactly, when we're going to see like that, extreme hockey stick growth, who knows? You know what I mean? It could be 2025. To be honest with you, I'm ready if it doesn't happen in 2025 and it gets pushed to 2026. I don't know. You know what I mean? Who knows? We're kind of, just playing it by ear and letting things kind of roll out. But I'm ready for whatever, to be honest with you. So what about you?
Yeah. I don't know, man. Personally, I think that a lot of things that a lot of us are expecting are going to come in like Q3, Q4, 2025. I still think that there's a lot of headwinds ahead of us. That in which we talk about in the private CYPRX community, like this Middle East tension that weighs on risk sentiment, the possible interest rate hikes that we could see from the Bank of Japan if their economy calls for it moving forward into 2025. So there's still a couple of things that I think we need to get through before we see massive price appreciation, which I believe that we will over the next couple of months. But I think that once those things are behind us, we are going to see exponential growth, particularly in the DeFi ecosystem, that are the likes that we've never seen before. And I continue to enlighten people that have been wrecked over the past 3 years and misled to believe these hockey stick price action analysis on digital assets like XRP and XLM and HBAR and all these assets that a lot of people hyped up because of their utility, to look outside of that utility for just 1 second and realize that these assets, particularly looking at the XRPL or Stellar or Hedera, didn't really have well-developed DeFi ecosystems over the past couple of years. And that is all changing. And that is going to be one massive driving factor in bringing TVL onto these public blockchains that is set to completely scale this ecosystem. And it's happening right now. And again, it's like one of those hidden niches in crypto. Like when you get into crypto, you're already a small portion of the population. And then when you come into crypto and then you get into DeFi, you're like, oh crap, I'm like a 1% of the 1% of the 1% that's in crypto when you're in DeFi, because nobody is paying attention to DeFi. As a matter of fact, myself and Mr. Aqua were some of the first people to test out the AMM feature this year on the XRPL. I remember getting into yield farming on the XRPL back when there was only, 250 active farmers on one of the dexes that we're seeing now hit new record inflows of TVL, right? So, I mean, this is exponential and absolutely massive to see unfold right before our very eyes. And, I think it's going to continue to unfold at such a rapid pace. So, I mean, and I know that you can relate to that too, Mr. Aqua, because you are the one making content on bringing DeFi on the XRPL to people's attention. So thank you guys for tapping in. Really do appreciate you guys for coming out today. Like I said, we got some juicy stuff while we wait for Mr. Aqua to tap back in. There he is. I'm going to get into, sorry, bro, you froze.
Yeah, my bad, dude. I'm back. I was like, what in the world happened?
All right, so we're going to start today, and I just want to show you guys what it is that we've been talking about here at CYPRX, and we're going to start with how we are in the midst of a massive transition via global central bank positioning, right? And if you look at market cycles, one of the key drivers of risk assets or just assets globally is central bank positioning. And we are on the precipice of heading into, over the course of the next consecutive couple of quarters, / maybe even years, depending on how long this takes, we're in the precipice or on the precipice of heading into a lower interest rate environment, which has previously and historically created a massive inflow of demand for riskier assets or assets that tend to appreciate in a low interest rate environment, right? So I just want to take your attention to proving that this is happening and that individuals that are heavily building in this space and play a massive role in the DeFi ecosystem are publicly telling you all this. And yet again, not a lot of people are paying attention and taking advantage of these opportunities. Yet again, here at CYPRX, putting our money where our mouth is at, we are. For example, we're going to get to talking about a digital asset called Arrow, which is the native digital asset on the Aerodrome DEX. We were buying that back at, I don't know, like 35 to 50 cents, some odd figure like that. And it's trading well above $1. We were getting into, in the CYPRX private community, into soy when it was 50 cents. It traded above $2 this year, so there's a lot of opportunity that people are missing out on because they're so heavily fixated on the utility aspect of this digital asset ecosystem. And I'm telling you guys that right now, if you don't focus your attention on DeFi, DeFi is going to be one of those next massive transformational waves that bring a lot of money via the traditional realm of things into this space. I'm going to remove Mr. Aqua again, and hopefully he can jump back on. I don't know what's going on with his internet connection, or maybe it's me. So let's just tap in. I'm going to share this with you guys and just listen to what Sergey here, the co-founder of Chainlink, has to say about the search for yield and how that's going to create a massive boom for DeFi. Take a second here and just listen.
Took down a lot of this ecosystem with them, Celsius and others and BlockFi and whatever. So that's been proven out. I think there is another kind of very big dynamic that drove the growth of DeFi to 200 billion, which is double what it is today, which is basically the yield, right? So you were in a low yield environment and the DeFi yields were very high. And I feel that was a big driving force. that kind of went away, and now there's this consistent search for yield that makes DeFi competitive with the TradFi community yield and with other sources of yield in the blockchain ecosystem, right? CeFi yield, whatever other yield. I think that that balance is finally shifting back towards DeFi, especially if the Fed interest rate continues to go down. So the more the Fed interest rate goes down and the more the DeFi yields continue to remain high at a low to moderate level of risk, then kind of the party for DeFi could be back on. I actually feel
right. So exactly what I'm trying to get you guys to see is exactly what he's talking about. As the interest rate environment starts to head into a lower interest rate environment, the search for yield is going to continue to increase. And I'm going to physically show you guys today that what he's talking about, and this is from over a month ago, is unfolding right before our eyes. So let me let Mr. Aqua back in. What's going on, bro? All right. So check this out. So if we come over here, we can see fundamental pieces from October. This is all recent, like I said, information. Big central banks are firmly in rate cut mode. Okay, now this is not going to happen overnight. It's not something I'm trying to get you guys to fixate your attention on immediately, but it is happening. This is not some dopamine hit. I'm not trying to give you guys bullish hopium, but it is for a fact happening. I'm going to physically show you all proof. 7 of the 10 major central big development market central banks tracked by Reuters have now started easing policy with the expectation of how quickly each will swing back and forth as policymakers stress data dependency, right? And you can see that overall multiple central banks across the board are starting to cut rates, which heads us into a lower interest rate environment. And as you heard Sergey said, the search for yield as we head into a lower interest rate environment is going to continue to grow. Well, do you guys remember? All right. This is and I know that maybe some of you don't, but our CYPRX researchers dug this up. This is a document from, if we head over here, this is from the OICU, IOSCO, Final Report for Policy Recommendations for Decentralized Finance. And this is a document of them literally discussing and talking about how traditional financial players are going to be able to utilize DeFi in the future, whether that's through investments, through yield generation, through providing it to their customer base, so on and so forth. Okay, they're going to be able to provide services to DeFi products via financial institutions. All right. Well, with that being said, keep in mind in the back of your head while we go through this presentation what Sergey said and what I just showed you guys about major central banks starting to lower rates. Because listen to what Sergey said now, keeping in mind that document that we just shared publicly on X via the CYPRX researchers about how institutions are going to provide these DeFi solutions for their clients. Take a second here and listen to what Sergey says.
Payments work, collateral management type work, settlement related work. And then in the first category, you're seeing more and more real world assets and tokenized funds from large asset managers and new issuances by banks of tokenized digital assets of various types. That is in the next year going to merge into a very productive active market, because now you'll have an asset and you'll have an efficient payment method. And as those two things continue to meet more and more, you'll see more and more adoption, because the efficiency and the ease of use of the payment method and the ubiquity of more and more available ways to buy and interact with digital assets, and the growth and the amount and quality of digital assets as inventory and financial products, that will naturally create a growing market. That's what we're starting to see, and which the asset management industry has kind of really in earnest kind of shot the gun in the air and started the race because of the adoption they're seeing. Interestingly enough, they're seeing that adoption in large part from the public blockchain community. So I think you will see the institutional TradFi community view DeFi and the public blockchain community as a big, valuable customer base. And then I think what you're also going to see in the coming year is more and more of the TradFi community's users wanting access to DeFi yields and DeFi systems. And the TradFi folks will be in a position where they have to think of ways to provide that access.
Right. So he's just talking about how over the coming years, he particularly mentioned that within the next year, which puts us in my prediction, which is Q3 to Q4 2025, when a lot of this is going to start to really unfold at a rapid pace, that it's becoming easier to use, that traditional financial players are going to start to offer DeFi to their clients, and we're going to see this scale. Now, we're going to play one more video clip from Sergey, where on a panel discussion, he talks about how financial institutions and fintechs, they're not going to have a choice with this. So just take a second here and listen. And then I'm going to physically show you guys proof that all of this is starting to unfold right now as we speak.
I'm going to ignore it, or I'm going to think it's not real, or it's going to go away in a few years. let me be very clear with all the fintechs and banks, which I am in every call I have with them. This isn't going away. This is the internet coming for a big part of your business. And the question is how you adapt to that, just like 20 years ago you had to adapt to the internet. That's what this is. This is the internet coming for the financial industry, period. That's what this is.
Wow.
You thought it was fintech interfaces taking your users. It's actually this infrastructure that's going to do everything that institutions do right now, but it's going to do it in a more controllable by the user, more transparent way.
Yeah, so this is why I'm trying to get you guys to see that this is happening regardless if you believe in it or not. So at a minimum, you should attempt to be getting educated on what DeFi is, how to utilize it. So that way, after the next bull market cycle, or even in the now, you can generate more cash flow, you can grow your wealth, you can maintain your wealth, and you don't have to sell your digital assets for a decaying traditional fiat currency that everybody's so fixated on now because they're so heavily focused on becoming an overnight millionaire or making a lot of money. And they're not focused on prolonging and keeping their wealth, right? I'm just saying, you guys, tap into DeFi. It's happening right now. So let me show you guys what I mean. Aerodrome, when we were investing in it in 50 cents, it traded well over $1. I don't know, like $1, maybe 50 this year. Okay. And you can see this is recent. This is from October 31st. They just posted this. Aerodrome volume goes supersonic. EPIT 61 shattered the volume record, reaching 5.07 billion, with Slipstream accounting for 93%. A total of $6.1 million in total rewards and incentives was distributed to the Aero voters. I personally have a lot of liquidity deployed into the Aerodrome ecosystem, earning yield on stablecoins. So I can say that I participated in this massive growth. I mean, this is exponential and is one of the main reasons why I have not given two craps about the price action this year in 2024. Because on a platform, on a DEX like Aerodrome, I'm consistently earning yield. Every single second of every single day, of every single week, of every single month, my assets are working for me and they're growing. And you can see, just like I said at the beginning of this call, I'm going to physically show you guys that what Sergey is saying, that when we head into a low interest rate environment, which we are, I've now shown you guys, the search for yield and the increase in TVL of DeFi is going to only continue to scale. Well, let me show you guys more proof of that. This is also from October 31st. DeFi TVL surpasses 90 billion for the first time in 3 months. Why do you think that is? You think that that's just random? Or do you think it's people with much more money than you and I realizing that the central bank positioning is starting to switch and they're going to get a lower interest rate on traditional investments compared to DeFi? I think that that's exactly what's happening, right? You can see here, the decentralized finance total value lock surpassed 90 billion mark for the first time since August, which is just phenomenal to see. We also see over here, this is from November 1st, 2024, over in the Eurozone. Decentralized finance relative activity is increasing in Eastern Europe, showcasing continued cryptocurrency adoption according to on-chain analytics platform Chain Analysis. Eastern Europe received over $499 billion worth of cryptocurrency between July and June 2024. Decentralized finance, i.e. DeFi activity, accounted for a third of the region's crypto value flow, totaling at more than $165 billion, right? That's massive. And this is from October 30th, Chain Analysis Crypto Adoption Report, right? So it's all updated info. Then I stumbled upon this article right here. Institutional familiarity with DeFi is on the rise, says Superstate's Robert Leshnar. Now, Superstate, for those of you all who don't know what that organization is, in a nutshell, it is an organization of a whole bunch of collective institutions in this space, building out kind of like a digital ecosystem for the ease of integration of traditional finance into this digital asset ecosystem. And this guy that you're about to hear from, Robert Leshnar, is the CEO of this organization. And compared to what Sergey from Chainlink said about the lower interest rate environment, listen to what this guy says, because this video is literally, I'm going to freaking prove to you what I'm saying. This is from 7 hours ago, this post. Okay. We shared this in the private CYPRX community. It has 53 views. Okay. That just goes to show that nobody is paying attention to this information. Keep in mind, there's millions of people involved in crypto and billions of people on this earth. And what does he say? He confirms that one of the drivers for the adoption of crypto has been this shift away from lower interest bearing traditional financial assets to DeFi because the yield is starting to change, right? So just take a second and listen here, what he says.
Oh, yeah. What was it about this moment that people saw this as an opportunity? Is it as simple as rates were high a year ago? Was it as simple as crypto people looking to figure out how they can park their wealth or their money in a more traditional mechanism? What was sort of how did the stars align?
Yeah, it's a great question. I view a couple like major macro tailwinds to the idea of tokenizing treasuries, right? Treasuries really being the second major asset that's being tokenized after dollars, right? Stablecoins have clearly demonstrated traction in product market fit for saying we're going to take $1 and we're going to issue a token against it. At this point, it's not really as clean as that. It's not like one-to-one where it's like, oh, it's $1 like sitting in a bank account, like segregated. It's like, well, actually, it's like a bucket of assets.
There's some commercial paper, there's cash.
Yeah, and it's worth more than $1. So like it's a dollar coin backed by very likely to be more than $1. And I think there's a couple of reasons why treasuries are the next asset that people are excited about tokenization. And the idea, I think, struck a lot of different folks at the same time for the same reasons. The first is the sort of macroeconomic backdrop. Macroeconomic backdrop, including both TradFi markets and DeFi markets. So, one of the things that was true from about 2018 to about 2022 was that interest rates on chain were higher than interest rates in TradFi, right? In general, you could earn on stablecoins a lot more in crypto in DeFi than you could parking it in T-bills. This is because interest rates from 2020 in COVID went down to zero. Before that, they were not very robust. But there was an ironclad rule, which was like DeFi yield higher than TradFi yield. And so in that environment, that was an incredible magnet to pull dollars on chain out of traditional financial markets and into places where they were earning like 8, 9, 10, 12, 14% yields. And so the macro environment started off as a magnet for pulling dollars into tokenized form. But what happened as interest rates started rising at the same time that there was essentially a glut of stablecoins, et cetera, was that this relationship flipped. And suddenly for the first time in like 2023, right, people said, wait a second, like interest rates are higher in TradFi than in DeFi. Why would I take the risks of protocols and smart contracts and like governance and hackers and
when I can put in the full faith and credit the US government?
Yeah, when I can just lend it to the US government, for short amounts of time. Like this doesn't make sense anymore. And when interest rates inverted between DeFi and Trad, that's one of the first major sort of like why nows. The second is that, when you're...
All right, so I just wanted to play that. He confirms that one of the reasons why liquidity was sucked out of the crypto ecosystem was because of the interest rate differential, right? Now, I just showed you guys physical proof how we are headed into an environment of lower interest rates. So what do you think is going to happen? The search for yield is yet again going to drive demand back towards the DeFi and crypto ecosystem as it becomes more apparent over the next consecutive couple of months. It's not going to happen overnight, but as central banks start to lower interest rates, again, you're going to start to see more demand, like I just showed you guys, happening in real time for the DeFi ecosystem, which is yet again, I'm physically showing you examples. I'm not giving you hopium. I'm actually showing you all statistics and reputable individuals telling you all this, that this is happening. Okay. So, this is why myself and Mr. Aqua stress the importance of educating yourself now on DeFi. We're not telling you guys to go out there, take our course, and then go and deploy into DeFi. No, but at least take our course and educate yourself so that way when you're comfortable and the environment completely shifts on its hands and you actually want to start earning on your digital assets, you know how. The power through education to stay on top in these markets is as simple as just joining a community of like-minded individuals and digesting the information. Yeah, it's going to take some elbow grease. And yeah, you're going to have to get through a very small paywall because we charge a fee for our course that we spend hours of our time on. But after you get through those two things, putting in some time and some effort to study the information in a small paywall, you become powerful, right? And I don't know anybody in this market that got involved into crypto and DeFi to just not make money, right? You most likely came into this space just like I did a couple of years ago, just like Mr. Aqua did a couple of years ago to make money. So if a platform and individuals who don't lie to you and pump hopium out to you and try to fixate on sparking your dopamine all the time and are trying to give you valid information can present that to you, I don't know why more people aren't taking this opportunity. And it is my firm belief that it is because this information is hidden. This is one of those niches in crypto. A lot of people think that the elites don't want you involved in crypto. They don't care about crypto in general. They don't want you involved in DeFi. They don't want you educated in learning how to generate yield and earn passive income to free yourself from the system. Right?
That's facts. Super facts.
So I'll just take a break, let that breathe. I don't know if you had anything you wanted to say on that, but then we'll get into another thing that this gentleman says here in a second. If you have anything to touch on what I just said.
No, I mean, I kind of take back what I said. I feel like based on what I just heard Sergey said as well, you know, he said the race has already began. So, you know, I feel like this is going to definitely unfold going into 2025 now for sure. I mean, this is absolutely massive, dude. This is straight juice right here. I don't see anybody else giving out information like this. And then like, this is, yeah.
It's because everybody else in crypto is always focused on price action and when they're going to sell their digital assets because of some Fibonacci price prediction. And I'm telling you, if you're following those people, you're going to get wrecked and you're not going to be able to keep and maintain your wealth. Because we had a Zoom call the other day talking about this in the private CYPRX community, what we're going to do after the bull market cycle. And I can tell you right now, outside of selling my initial investment into this digital asset space to break even and make my investment risk-free, I plan on keeping my digital assets for my entire life because I know the power of the digital asset XRP and how I'm going to be able to utilize it to lend, to borrow against it, to earn yield on it, to use it to provide liquidity, to earn fees on it. Like, you're never going to have to sell your XRP if you're educated on the asset that you actually hold and what you can do with it, right? You know, and the craziest part about DeFi is it doesn't matter if XRP is 50 cents or $50. In DeFi, you can do the same thing with it. It just generates you higher returns depending on the price, you know?
Yeah, that's fact. Yeah, eventually too, I want to get into that I trust capital and get a trust and put my XRP into there and have a family trust, you know what I mean, with all the digital assets.
100%, man. 100%. Having just like 100,000 units of XRP just working for you consistently all around the clock, 365. That's the goal. And then taking some of the other XRP that I have and lending, borrowing it, so on and so forth, borrowing against it, so on and so forth. But man, people are really sleeping on the opportunity that they have with these assets because they think that they're going to sell them for fiat in the next bull market cycle. I feel so bad for people, bro. Can you imagine how many people are going to become millionaires and then lose it all in the next 3 years because they just don't know how to keep it in this new digital realm that we're headed into? It's really sad.
Yo, and the reason why we know that is because like we're educated on like DeFi and what it can do for us. You know what I mean? Had we not did that and put in that elbow grease, we would be in that same category most likely and lose the money within 3 years. And that's how we're even able to speak to that and say that, you know what I mean? So yeah, I just wanted to highlight that.
One of the craziest things too that I've heard, I listened to a lot of podcasts and Andrew Tate was on a podcast. I don't really listen to him, but something that he said that stuck with me is one of the reasons why multimillionaires and billionaires stay rich. And it's because they understand the power of consistent, safe, small returns. For example, a multimillionaire can stick into a traditional investment that generates 2 to 5% and make hundreds of thousands of dollars per year in just yield generation. And that's what a lot of, he called them broke people. I don't like to call people broke, but poor people don't understand about money is that the rich learn how to utilize their money as an asset to generate them more money. Well, we're headed into this new digital realm, and you have a whole bunch of people who are unfortunately broke and poor, dollar cost averaging into this space in high hopes of becoming a multimillionaire, bringing that same lack of education into this new digital ecosystem. So they're bringing their lack of understanding of traditional finance into this new digital realm, and they think they're going to become successful by selling it for fiat and opening up a business or buying real estate when in reality, there are so many opportunities in the digital niche in this Web3 native ecosystem that's being built out right now for you to hold on to your wealth and not have to sell your digital assets at all. At all. You know, whether that's through tokenization of real world assets, digital real estate investing, carbon credits investing, yield bearing platforms like yield farming or liquid staking. There's just so many options through DeFi that we talk about in the Will 28 Club that people are freaking just sad, man. That's
Like
all.
Lofty, bro. Yo, shout out to Lofty. Lofty gave me a follow on X, bro. So I was like, oh, let's go.
Yeah, and it's because you're spitting information, you're spitting game, bro. You're spitting real valid information on and helping people maintain and grow their wealth. Like I've even seen people in this space that have really good credentials that are private family office, you know, in the private family office realm of things, not even talk about this or not even know about DeFi, you know? So I'm just saying, people, you guys are here, you're gathering this information. And if you're on this call with us, like all we're asking you to do is save yourself. Like it's not going to benefit me whether you educate yourself on DeFi or not. It's only going to benefit you and your family. So that's really up to you. We're just here as individuals providing keys that open doors. And it's up to you to take that key, put it into the door, open it, and walk through it, you know? But we'll give you that key. You got to have the initiative to take it and use it. So let's move on, bro. So this guy also said, I paid attention to this because what do we talk about to you guys in the past, especially if you've been following us for some time? Ever since the AMM feature launched back in March of this year on the XRPL, we told you guys that XRP holders over the past lifeline of however long they've been holding XRP, we have never had the opportunity to participate in DeFi, to take our XRP and go and lend it, go borrow against it, go provide liquidity with it and earn yield, right? Well, ETH holders over the past consecutive couple of years have had that opportunity. And I'm going to show you all how now that is all changing for the first time ever as utility bag holders on blockchains like Stellar, Hedera, which Hedera has a lot more well-developed ecosystem DeFi or DeFi ecosystem than the XRPL and Stellar, but still, it's still relatively new, and the TVL and DeFi on Hedera is still small compared to Ethereum, right? So just listen to what he says, because again, this guy with many more credentials than I myself that sits in meetings with financial institutions, actually, as a matter of fact, if you go look at the Superstate portfolio and who is in the Superstate as a collective whole, it's 100% institutions. So you can assume that this man has a lot more credentials, right? Well, he confirms this, that ETH is the only real ecosystem that's been and heavily involved in DeFi, albeit there are some others, but ETH is the main one. If you can go confirm that for yourself on DeFi Llama. So just listen to him say that.
I was involved and always came out stronger. And on the one hand, I felt like we'd built an incredible ecosystem, but at the same time, you know, what kept on gnawing at me as a DeFi founder was the fact that the assets that were being traded, that were being borrowed, that were being derivatived, that were being used on chain never really seemed to change. It was, you know, Ether, wrapped Bitcoin, a couple governance tokens, a couple stable coins, etc. And the list really didn't evolve that much from like 2017, honestly, to 2023. And when I first got started as a builder in crypto, you know,
by the way, this gentleman was a co-founder, if I'm not mistaken, of the platform called Compound, which is one of the biggest DeFi, has one of the biggest DeFi TVLs across the DeFi market. So, but I just wanted you guys to hear him say that ETH has been the main focus in DeFi, pretty much to sum it up in a nutshell, since 2017 until about 2023. So of course, XRP holders aren't going to know that this exists, because a lot of people in the XRP community have been so fixated on calling out bullish Moonboy price predictions instead of fixating their attention on DeFi and how to utilize XRP to their advantage instead of selling it for fiat, right? So yeah, it's going to seem new. But what did we tell you guys here at CYPRX? I said, last bull market cycle, XRP, XLM, HBAR had no DeFi ecosystem helping boost momentum like ETH did. This is again back from July 15th, 2024. And I just showed you guys an updated video of this gentleman here from 7 hours ago with 53 views that has ties to institutions telling you guys the same thing. So now you can see that we're putting out good information here at CYPRX. Now, over the past consecutive couple of months, we have seen nothing but DeFi developments. And this is only going to continue to scale, as I said in this post, right? The DeFi ecosystem alone in these 3 ecosystems and networks is going to explode over the next 8 to 12 months. I'm sticking to my word because look at this. This is again back from July 15th. Well, look at this. This is recent. This is from October 27, 2024. Automated market makers on the XRPL have experienced an extreme increase in volume. On October 27th, the XRPL recorded a total of $3.9 million in AMM volume, which is a new record high. Now, obviously, of course, this is due to the meme coin craze on the XRPL, but still, it provides unprecedented opportunities for increased TVL and trading pairs on the XRPL. It also states here that MAG, the native token of the Magnetic project, which is a DEX that you can go and provide liquidity on, the #1 AMM pool on XRP market, also saw significant inflows and increases in TVL over the past week. So I'm just putting my money where my mouth is at. And what I've been telling you guys this entire year and showing you all is continuing to unfold. And this is no bullish moonboy hopium or hype. This is just straight facts, right? So now let me show you guys that it's not just me telling you all this. Marcus Infinger, the SVP of RippleX, just yesterday put this out on his LinkedIn profile. And it reads, institutions are increasingly leveraging public blockchains to bring traditional financial assets on-chain, enhancing transparency, security, and operational efficiency, and creating unprecedented opportunities for revenue generation and liquidity. I repeat, for revenue, yeah, bro, yeah. For revenue generation and liquidity. Well, what do you think he's talking about? Well, down here, I noticed that he hashtagged DeFi, right? And so he went on to write this report. You can see up at the top, this is from CoinDesk by Marcus Infinger. So again, this is from the SVP at Ripple, okay? And what does it say? Let's just read some highlights, okay? I'm not going to bore you guys to death. I only have a couple. But it says leading firms such as BlackRock and Franklin Templeton are already embracing public blockchains by bringing regulated traditional financial assets to tokenized money market funds onto public blockchains, which is already leading to significant capital flows into DeFi. This is literally from yesterday, people. Okay. And what did I tell? Well, how did I start off this video? By showing you all Sergey from Chainlink telling you all that traditional finance is about to flood into DeFi, especially as the yield environment starts to change via central bank positioning, which I also proved to you guys is happening and changing right now as we speak. Okay, let's continue. By moving these assets onto public blockchains, these institutions are benefiting from greater transparency and interoperability, which streamline processes and enhance market integration. The 24/7 trading intraday settlement, allows for efficient capital flow management without the constraints of traditional trading hours. For investors, these tokenized assets represent low risk, high quality liquidity with low barriers to entry and better availability, making them an attractive option that brings more stability to blockchain and based markets, ultimately supporting broader adoption for DeFi. Again, this is coming from Ripple. This is not coming from me. I'm just a relayer of information. Okay. Now, right down here, it says, as public blockchains offer a path to a more productive financial system, the question is no longer whether institutions will adopt them, but how quickly this transformation will unfold. One thing is clear. This shift is not just redefining finance. It is laying the groundwork for DeFi to become a fundamental part of the global financial market. People, please, if y'all are here, smash that thumbs up button and subscribe to the CYPRX platform. Me and this man sitting on this call with you right now have been telling y'all that DeFi is about to scale these public blockchains in ways that we have never seen before, and y'all need to get educated on what is happening. This is not about utility or price predictions. This is about keeping and maintaining our wealth as we literally transition into a new global financial system. Okay, like if you. I just don't know how else to wake people up, bro. It is so hard to wake people up in this space because our brains have been so manipulated over the past 4 years in crypto, especially if you've been a crypto investor, to just hodl, this hodl mindset. That is not what these digital assets, if you understand what an asset is, it is something that generates you revenue. Most people in crypto, their crypto is a liability. A liability is something that takes away your revenue generation or your capital, right? For most people in crypto, they lose money, even if they're just long-term hodlers. Most people are down in their portfolio investments. Here at CYPRX, I've publicly, and so has Mr. Aqua, shown you that all year and last year and the year before that, ever since we started a bear market cycle, we have been making money in this space, right? We know how to use our assets to make us money. They're digital assets. They're not digital liabilities. So why are people utilizing them as digital liabilities and not digital assets? I'm just saying.
That's a great point, bro. That's a super great point. Yeah, dude. And this just makes me feel like, man, we've been spot on since since the jump, and now we're hearing it firsthand from very, very important people over here at Ripple. And yo, like, you know, I'm thankful. I'm super thankful that we have this information. We know this stuff. We're aligned with it because, boy, oh boy, we are some early pioneers, bro.
100%.
Yeah.
So I'm going to continue to show you guys the realest information. And so check this out. So this actually ties into something that Mr. Aqua shared with the private community the other day, which is that you can earn yield on the digital asset XLR. So we bought XLR at like 45 to 50 cents. It rallied all the way up to 90 cents this year, which was phenomenal when we got in. And it's pulled back slowly. I think it dipped down to like 64, 70 cents more recently in this market downturn that we experienced over the past week and a half. But long story short, Mr. Aqua put out some really good information on how we can earn an 8% yield on our XLR. And I have quite a few $1,000s worth of XLR that I'm going to definitely be deploying on this platform. But before we even get to that part, and I show you guys that platform, just to give you guys some juice, I want to show you all that people that are actually building out this technology are telling you guys this on stage. And yet again, not a lot of people are paying attention. So this was shared in our private community. It was a post by PureSys Technology. If you're not too familiar with PureSys Technology, they are in the process or already have built out the EVM sidechain on the XRPL, which is giving users like us, retail users and institutions, the ability to participate in a more well-developed and more well-matured DeFi ecosystem on the XRPL in a nutshell, which gives us the ability to lend, to borrow against our XRP, to use it to provide liquidity and liquidity pools and so on and so forth, right? I'm going to play 2 video clips of the CEO of PureSys talk to you guys about how right now, just like how this gentleman mentioned, just to revert back and show you guys I'm not making this stuff up. Remember, this gentleman, Robert, said that over the past 3 years, well, a little bit longer than that, since 2017 pretty much until 2023, there hasn't really been any good solid developments outside of a few chains in Ethereum, which is true. If you go look at DeFi Llama, there's only a handful of reputable networks and chains in the DeFi ecosystem. However, that is expanding now. In the XRPL, and increased institutional adoption is about to, oh my gosh, I can't even. You guys know how many partners Ripple has? Imagine if they can convince them in some sort of way to provide DeFi to their clients through the XRPL. I mean, it's going to be so crazy in the near future. But just listen to what this guy says. Again, that's speculation. I'm not going to get into that. But you saw Marcus Imfinger talk about DeFi and institutional adoption. So I'm just saying, put 2 and 2 together. But this is the gentleman from PureSys, the CEO, talk about the growth of the XRPL and how we as users, as XRP holders, have never had a DeFi ecosystem on the XRPL, and how for the first time ever this is going to scale. So just take a second here and listen to what he says.
So right after, so basically it's before Ethereum, there was no general purpose programmability. So by the time it's very difficult on the XRP ledger to build your custom code. You can do it. It's designed for that, but you need to make a fork, and it takes a lot of time, and you need to make an amendment in C++ that needs to be in consensus with the rest of the network, and it's quite difficult, right? So there is like this Pareto law, so 20% of the use cases are still 80% of the usage, or probably more, but there is a long tail of projects or customizations that we are not allowing right now. So the points I'm more interested are probably in one side, DeFi itself. I think XRP ledger, XRP token itself has been quite isolated. If you see it, it has about $2 billion volume daily. So it's one of the most traded assets in some of the most developed economies like the US, Japan, Korea. It's among the top 3 most traded assets.
Yeah, especially now, like when the status is finally clear.
Yeah. So,
yeah.
So long story short, he just talks about how XRP is one of the most traded assets, right? With $2 billion of volume. And it's never had a DeFi ecosystem, right? And how all that's about to change. One more clip right here is when we're going to get into him mentioning XLR. Listen to what he says here about the developments of DeFi on the XRPL and how they're integrating with XLR in order to build this out. Just listen here.
Yeah, getting the right people excited to join the ecosystem is one of the biggest challenges. And I think this could be a really good milestone in that way.
Yeah, cool. Thank you. Ferran, same question for you, actually. Again, we all agreed that XRPL and Cosmos is a big deal. So how do you see the project is contributing to overall growth of cross-chain liquidity and DeFi?
Yeah, I think the XRP ledger and XRP itself, it's going to experience an explosion of interoperability over the next few months, and especially in the long term. As I said, it's been quite isolated. And I think there is a significant number of initiatives right now. The XRP LEVM, it's providing a clear path of interoperability. We are integrating XLR, which connects also the XRPL mainnet to the rest of the blockchains, and both chains.
So I'll pause it right there, Mr. Aqua. It looked like you said something, but just to sum it up, he said that over the next couple of months,
Yeah.
especially considering that XRP has been isolated and is now for the first time ever having a DeFi ecosystem built onto it, we're going to experience exponential growth. Go ahead. I know you got excited there for a second when you heard that.
Yeah, well, I heard him say a couple months. I'm like, yo, what? And then take a look at his shirt. It's XRP, and then there's a Ripple, Ethereum, and then there's an XLR logo up to the top right of it. Do you see it?
Yeah.
Who was this guy again, though?
This is the CEO of Persist, of the company building out the EVM sidechain on the XRPL.
Yeah, bro. Say less.
Yeah. And you know what's crazy about this is I played a video clip on my YouTube channel of him about 2 or 3 months ago when they first started developing this, saying that they're bringing institutions to the XRPL to participate in DeFi. And that video on the Persist Technology YouTube channel has like maybe 200 views max. Like nobody's paying attention to this stuff, bro. Nobody. So just to sum it all up, right? I mean, because we've gone on now for an hour, so I really do appreciate you all for tapping in, but I just wanted to show you guys this platform that Mr. Aqua shared with our community the other day, since we're on the topic of DeFi and earning yield. I mean, imagine if, let's just say, let's go out and throw some projections out there, okay? Let's say XLR goes to $20 a coin, which in my personal opinion, considering where we're going in the future, whether it takes a year or 10 years, I don't think is unachievable. And again, I don't give out bullish price predictions. So me saying that is a lot, right? Well, I hold a lot of XLR, and on this platform, on this Exodus wallet, you can earn 8% on your XLR. Now, there's other assets in which you can earn yield on, but imagine if you have, I don't know, in the future, let's say you invest a couple $1,000s in XLR and you experience a massive 10, 20, 30x, and you make a couple $100,000. Why on earth, when you could make 8% yield consistently on your XLR, would you want to sell it for fiat to a decaying system where central banks are going to consistently print money over the next consecutive couple of years and continue to devalue fiat at a rapid pace for fiat currency? Makes absolute no sense. And I would assume that over the next consecutive couple of months / years, the DeFi ecosystem, when it comes to XLR and deploying our XLR into the DeFi ecosystem, is only going to continue to scale. We're most likely going to be able to provide liquidity with it, to lend it, to borrow against it, all kinds of things. So we're just here in an attempt, and I hope after this video breakdown and the collective information that I've shared with you guys is not to steer or sway your opinion and drive hopium to you that you're going to become some overnight millionaire. It's in an attempt to show you how you, if you do become a millionaire, or if you're in an attempt to achieve financial success, you can create that for yourself now and after this next bull market cycle by educating yourself on DeFi and how to utilize your digital assets as assets and have them working for you, right? I'm just saying, people, you got to tap into the stuff that me and Mr. Aqua are providing. At the end of the day, it's only going to benefit you and your family in the long run. So I hope that you all enjoyed today's video breakdown. I feel like I'm going to sum it up here, give myself a break. Me and Mr. Aqua are going to digest this this Brad Garlinghouse fireside chat with the CEO of Pantera Capital and just kind of talk through it if you guys want to stick around. But that was my DeFi spiel. I'll wrap it up there. If you guys want to learn more about DeFi, we literally have an A to Z course. I'm talking about hundreds of video breakdowns now at this point, teaching you guys about DeFi, what DeFi is, how we are utilizing it in our portfolios to generate yield on our assets right now. Head over to CYPRXtrading.com. You know, we'd love to have you on the team. It's a community of like-minded individuals, and we're literally helping people every single day educate themselves on integrating into this new digital infrastructure and learning how to keep and generate more wealth for themselves. So we'd love to have you on the team. Again, that's CYPRXtrading.com. You guys can see the banner right there. Go visit the website. Even if you don't join right away and it's something that you want to consider, just go check it out.